Hi, this is Pete Buchanan, founder and director of instruction for Plain Simple Golf and Plain Simple Golf Academies. And what we're presenting here today is a little bit of a recap for Dr. Jeremy Maxwell, who we've been working with on his golf swing for the last 5 weeks, in conjunction working with Dr. Maxwell and his TPI, Titleist Performance Institute certification that he has. And we've been working back and forth as a team to enhance Dr. Maxwell's golf swing, and also to help with the K-Trainer as part of the TPI program that Dr. Maxwell has, and allowing you to go in and train and work and get the body in the right positions for the golf swing. And what we did with the K-Trainer is we went and pre-programmed the positions that we feel the Plain Simple golf swing should be in. And Dr. Maxwell, over the last 5 weeks, he's probably done 4 or 5 sessions where he's gone in with the K-Trainer to work on those positions, each session lasting about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we've been spending 5 weeks working individually with his golf swing. So we wanted to show you the progress that can be made in this time frame. And to give you a little bit of background, we'll start with the video on the left. The tendency for Dr. Maxwell was to sit a little bit back on his heels with the posture and have a little bit too much bend forward from the waist. And you can see a 114-degree angle there between the hips and the back. And if you look on the right-hand side, we've now moved that to 128, so it's 14 degrees more up in his posture, which is a little bit better balance point, with the weight now on the flat of his feet, so the body can turn more easily in balance. And again, the tendency with the video on the left for Dr. Maxwell as he started off was for the shoulders to tip a bit, and you can already see about, halfway through the backswing, the posture is already beginning to change. He's starting to come out of that original posture angle. The upper back is starting to stand up. That right shoulder is tilting in at the top of the swing. He's come out of that original posture angle. And then as it comes into the downswing, it repeats and gets a little bit on a vertical spot, and you can see it definitely changes through impact. And as it comes through, the posture gets bent a little bit, so that old reverse C and C in the posture, and then the club comes up a little bit vertical at the top. So what we're going to do is go through this and give you a little bit about what the things we've done, the changes we've made, and see the progress in Dr. Maxwell's swing over the last 5 weeks. So we're going to run these together at the beginning, just to show you, first of all, when we're looking at the posture, the differences and how the swings look as they come away from the golf ball. And as we move, what I want you to notice as we're coming through here, we're going to stop the club when each one's about parallel to the ground. And the video on the right isn't taken directly from behind, so that parallel to the ground angle would be about right here. But what I want you to see in this position is, right away you can tell in the video on the right, after 5 weeks, Dr. Maxwell's been able to maintain that posture through the first 3 feet and really stay in what he had between the angles between the legs and the back. And you can see the video on the left, he's already stood up out of that. And so there isn't as much of a turn to this point in the backswing from the original video on the left, and you can definitely see how much better of a turn he's made after 5 weeks. So as we continue on from this point, you begin to see the video on the left-hand side, the club begins to get picked up a little bit more vertical in the air, and you can even tell right here how much more vertical it's beginning to go. Shoulders are continuing to tilt, and there's a much better turn of the shoulders coming on the video on the right as we've improved the turning motion and getting Doc to stay in those positions as far as the backswing goes. Now we'll match these swings at the top here, so both hands are about the shoulder height. You can see Doc still maintaining that posture that he has on the right hand side between the legs and the back, has stayed in that good position. The legs are resisting, the shoulders are turning, and the video on the left, the upper back has come out of that position. And now we'll continue on to the top of the swing, and I think you'll see a bit of a difference in how the golf club finishes off right here at the top. And we'll stop each one. Now the video on the right has a couple more clicks before it gets there. But now we have both golf clubs at the top of the swing, and I think you can see definitely how the shoulder position on the left has raised up and come out of that original posture angle, and the video on the right is still in it. And there's also a definite difference in the length that the club has gone in the backswing. On the right-hand side, it would be noted that maybe from the old standard, they used to say that a full swing at the top was the club parallel to the ground and the target line at the same time. Well, basically, what really a full swing is how the body turns with how the shoulders wind against the legs. That's what really constitutes a full swing. And in the Plain Simple golf swing, at the top of the swing, we're minimizing the wrist hinge to allow the golf club to be more fundamentally square and much easier to re-square at the bottom of the ball. And you can see, because of that, that golf club looks like it would be somewhat short on the right-hand side of the full swing, but it really isn't. That's a full motion that Dr. Maxwell's made. We've just reduced the lower half and upper half to the balance that they should need, and we've kept the wrist hinge out of there to allow that golf club to sit in a good position. So now as we come down in the downswing, you're going to see a definite difference here in how the bodies react. We'll try to get these matched up as they come down and get into impact. We'll have to catch the one up on the right just a wee bit. We'll get these two about the same place, and I think you can see as they come into impact right in here, there's a definite difference in how the bodies look. On the left-hand side, the original video, definitely can see the bodies come way out of the posture. There's a little bit of a C or a bend in the back, as I talked about before, and the hands at the bottom of the swing are trying to manipulate that club to get it to square and really rotate. A timing issue down there, whereas if you look on the right-hand side, the posture is right back where it was. The shoulders are square, the hips are square at address, the club's delivered at impact, and the hands don't have to do anything different. The arms can freely swing the club, and we know the golf club will be square to it. On the left-hand side, again, at impact, look how much more open the hips are and the shoulders are coming through there. So the body is taken off in front of the golf club, so the golf club's desperately trying to catch up, and the hands have to make up for that. It's very difficult to time that at the bottom of the swing. Now as we continue to go on, definitely can see how the arms swing through. The body position on the left is really starting to stand up and come out of the way, and you can see how much more vertical the golf club is in the finish of the golf swing. And it's simply because of the way the posture was set at the beginning and the shoulders tilting versus turning, and a much more rounded, much more on-plane finish to the golf swing on the right-hand side after 5 weeks. So you can see a definite difference in how they come in there, and how each golf club now, even at the finish of the golf swing, you can see Dr. Maxwell still in the same posture. He's still got the angles set and has allowed the golf club to freely swing off of that. And if you can maintain that posture and keep the body in those angles, it's so much more repeatable for the golf club to swing back and forth in the same place all the time and get much more consistent golf shots out of it. Now let's switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go back to the address positions again. And this time we're going to set them up and take it to where we have a plane line drawn in there. And what I like to do is draw a line right up the shaft of the golf club. We're looking at about 55 degrees here, and then I'll draw another one right through the elbow at the same degrees. Let's go over here to this one. We'll draw one up the shaft here. This one will sit about 54 degrees when it goes up, and we'll draw another one at 54 right through the elbow. Now we're going to run these together, and what I really want you to see as we do this is, as we move these golf clubs along and start to talk about the swing plane, you know, the golf club should swing parallel to those lines throughout the swing. And those are checkpoints that we've built into the K-Trainer with Dr. Maxwell. When we set it up for the Plain Simple Golf Swing, we built the body positions in reference to where this golf club should sit as far as the swing plane goes. So you can go in and get the body positions to help and match, and then you know, the golf club will be much more easier to keep on a good swing plane. Now as we go away and we move these, we're going to move it to where we get to the first 3 feet where the golf club's parallel to the ground. And we'll move it right in here. You know, and it's not in too bad of a spot right here with Dr. Maxwell as far as on the left, but there just isn't much of a turn. And as we move to the same position where the club's, you know, parallel to the ground, right in here, now we can just see how much more turn the shoulders have on the right-hand side. The lower half resisting and the shoulders are turning, and this is going to allow the arms then to set the club in a great swing plane at the top of the swing. On the left-hand side, he hasn't turned, so without that turn, that golf club's going to end up going too much up in the air or too vertical. So now the next part we want to look at is when the hands just reach about the base of the shoulder, sort of where the armpit is, and how that golf club is positioned on this particular spot, and about right in here. And I'll back this one on the left up just one more. Pardon me, I'll take that back to it. Let's go back here right about the top of the swing again. You'll get a nice view here right there, about armpit high. And then we'll move this one right in here about the same. And what I want you to see here is the difference on where the golf club has been placed. Because the shoulders on the left-hand side didn't turn, the arms are being pushed more up or more above the swing plane. Even though the golf club is close to being parallel to that, it's actually above the plane line. And you can see the one on the right-hand side is right in that nice little track I made between the two lines. So now let's take it up to the top of the swing. And we'll finish this off at the top, and you can see where this golf club is going to stop and set. And we'll have to take this one on the right just a few more, and we'll see where that golf club is. Now, from the downswing, let's just show where these golf clubs are going to come in at. As we start to swing down, you can definitely see the video on the left-hand side is already swinging well outside the swing plane, and the shaft is already getting very vertical. And as you watch this swing on the right, as the arms begin to swing down because of a better posture and balance, they're able to put the golf club right back where it came from. So now as they come down into impact, you definitely see a difference in where these golf clubs are coming from, and where I think you're really going to see the greatest difference is when they get into impact right here. You can see the video on the right, the golf club's returned to the same parallel place it was at address, and the video on the left, very vertical, much more vertical coming into the impact, which again would have the club face more open, and so the hands have to manipulate that face at the bottom to try to square the golf club up. And again, the posture gets out of whack to try to get it in there because the shoulders aren't turning and tilting. And now as we continue on here to the next few frames, and as we get to about right here on the other side, here's the real difference. You can see Dr. Maxwell on the right has the golf club shaft back parallel to the original line as it's coming through. So it's right on plane again, and you can see on the left from the original video it's very vertical. So that's really the difference. You know, in 5 weeks, a tremendous amount of progress for Dr. Maxwell, and he's really worked at getting the body in the right angles and true foundation to swing the golf club off of. And what I've always talked about in the golf swing, which is very important, sometimes you'll hear me relate the golf swing to the old balsa wood airplane with the red propeller, and I like to do that because it gives you a great indication of what's going on. I'm just going to put this one right in the middle of these two. We're going to go back to the beginning and go ahead and put this down. You know, the old balsa wood airplane had the red propeller and the rubber band, and you'd hook the rubber band on the little hook back there, and then you'd take that propeller and you'd wind it up. And as soon as you got done with that propeller, you'd let it go, and it would unwind from the propeller back to the base. So the golf swing is no different. What we're going to do here is we're going to take that rubber band, which is the legs and hips and shoulders, and we're going to wind them up. We're going to wind the shoulders against the legs and set the propeller at the top. So now it's wound up, and the propeller is actually the golf club in this case. So now you got to let the propeller go. So the golf club now has to freely swing down through the ball here without any independent action of the body. The body's going to unwind on its own. So now you're free to swing the golf club right back down the same plane line because the body's balanced in the right structure. And now you can take that golf club and just let it go and let it swing right down into the ball and around to the other side. The body will unwind automatically, just like that rubber band. It's wound up, it'll unwind. But to increase the power and to really get that golf club swinging freely through there, you've got to let the propeller go, which is the golf club. Let the arms swing down from the top of the swing and down to the other side. The body will unwind naturally on its own. So that's what we wanted to show you today. I think you can see there's a tremendous amount of progress that Dr. Maxwell's made in a very short period of time. And that's the benefit of the Plain Simple Golf Swing and the Titleist Performance Institute program that Dr. Maxwell has. We're going to be doing some future academy sessions down at Old Kinderhook at the Lake of the Ozarks, combining our two things together. And I know from the Performance Institute, Titleist Performance Institute that Dr. Maxwell has, along with his chiropractic services, and getting the body in the right positions so that it's freed up, brain-body connection that Dr. Maxwell talks about. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend that every golfer who plays golf go see them. Your golf game is going to improve immensely because of it, and not only will your physical health will improve. And so I think if you need to get a hold of any of us, Maxwell Family Chiropractic is one that you can get a hold of. Dr. Maxwell in Columbia, and you got Plain Simple Golf. You can reach us at plainsimplegolf.com, and there's also a link to Dr. Maxwell on our website. And so you can look in for some Plain Simple Golf lessons, and also the Titleist Performance Institute for player development and proper body positioning and brain-body connection with Dr. Maxwell. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for your time today, and I hope this has helped you along with your golf.